Hello friends, today we are going to study accounts chapter number 6, that is subsidiary books. Introduction. The subsidiary books are the books of original entry and it is also called primary records because the first entry of transaction is made in subsidiary books. On the basis of subsidiary books, postings are made into concerned account afterwards. In the previous chapter, we have studied that the first entry for recording various day-to-day transactions is known as journal entry. The book in which such journal entries are recorded is known as journal. When the number of transactions increase in large number, entering all transactions in one book becomes difficult. From following are the limitations of a journal. First, while writing every transaction, the account name has to be mentioned. Second, an individual posting of each account has debit and credit and hence involves the repetitive journalizing and posting work. Third, the journal becomes bulky and voluminous and becomes difficult to manage. Fourth, such accounting system does not provide the information on a prompt basis. Fifth, it becomes very difficult to implement effective internal control system. In order to overcome these limitations, the journal is subdivided into subsidiary books. Because of the use of computer, these limitations have been neutralized. For the large number of transactions which are repetitive, a separate book of journal is kept. For example, for credit purchase, for credit sales, cash sales, etc. Specific transactions are noted in specific books. Such separate books of journal are known as subsidiary books. Accountancy. Here you can see the accounting cycle which begins from transactions, then recording in the subsidiary books which we are going to study in this chapter. Then comes casting of the books and ledger posting, then trial balance, and the last is final accounts which is to be prepared. Thus, accounting is the first stage of accountancy. What are the advantages of subsidiary books? First of all, meaning subsidiary books refer to the journals kept for specific transactions of similar nature. Subsidiary books are also known as day books. A separate book for each subdivision is maintained. For example, for recording all credit purchase transactions, purchase book is prepared, and for recording all credit sales transactions, sales book is prepared. Now, advantages. Division of work. The accounting work can be divided among different persons. Allocate work for purchase book and sales books to different person. Then division of labor. Accounting work in accounts department may be assigned to a person possessing the required skill. Hence, economic, accurate, prompt and easy accounting information can be obtained. Thus, keeping subsidiary books gives the benefit of the division of labor. Due to above mentioned benefits, following benefits can also be achieved. Audit works becomes simple and prompt. Account preparation work becomes simple and prompt. Saving of time, availability of information and facility in checking. What are the disadvantages of subsidiary books? They may be expensive in case of a small business, as in small business it is best to keep journal, and it requires some basic knowledge of accountancy, as if any of the entries are recorded incorrect then it will be a problem or they need to be rectified. Here is a flowchart presenting the transactions of two categories. First is cash transactions for which cash book is to be prepared, and second is credit transactions for which subsidiary books for goods should be prepared. The item with which the business, enterprise or entity deals is called goods by them. As per the study in previous chapter, cloth is goods for clothing traders. The books in which the business entity records credit purchase, sales and return transactions are called good subsidiary books. Here you can see the types of credit transactions in which they are recorded. First is purchase book, second purchase return book, third sales book, Fourth, sales return book. Fifth, bills receivable book. Sixth, bills payable book. And seventh, journal proper. So here are the types of subsidiary books, namely purchase book, sales book, cash book, purchase return book, sales return book, bills receivable book, and bills payable book. Let us see what is purchase book. Subsidiary books in which only credit purchase transactions are recorded is called purchase book. The goods in which a trader deals in credit purchase and sales, the credit purchase details are recorded in that purchase book. Cash purchase transactions and purchase of any other assets are not recorded in purchase book. Partial cash transactions and partial credit transactions are considered as credit transactions and are recorded in purchase book. Net amount of credit purchase of goods is recorded in purchase book. Net amount of purchase is equals to total amount of credit purchase minus trade discount. As you all know, trade discount is not recorded in books. Purchase book can be maintained in different ways. Mainly, purchase book can be maintained in following two ways. First is simple purchase book, second is columnar purchase book, in which columnar purchase book comes purchase books with columns according to types of goods, and second, goods and expense columnar purchase book. This book is used for recording goods purchased on credit, also known as invoice book, bought book, or purchased journal. It is not necessary to record the transaction in the journal book where they are entered in the purchase book. Format of purchase book. When a businessman is purchasing only one type of goods, generally simple purchase book is maintained. Even when more than one type of goods are purchased, separate simple purchase book for each type of goods can be maintained. When a businessman purchases goods of more than one type, columnar purchase book for each type of goods is prepared instead of simple purchase book to know the details and information about each variety of goods. For example, when a businessman purchases only TV, then he would prepare simple purchase book. But if a businessman purchases TV, refrigerator and floor mills, then he will prepare columnar purchase book. First is date. In above specimen, first column is of date. The date on which credit purchase transactions has taken place is recorded in this column. Second, name of supplier. In this column, name of supplier from whom goods are purchased and details of goods purchased are entered. Third, inward invoice number. The number of bill or invoice issued by supplier is recorded in this column. Fourth, ledger folio number. The page number of the ledger on which the amount is credited in the account of the concerned supplier is recorded in this column. Lastly, amount. Amount of net purchase arrived at after deducting trade discount is recorded in this column. Besides, expenses paid by supplier on behalf of purchaser are also included, which are recorded in journal proper. Now comes sales book, a subsidiary book which is used for the purpose of recording the sale of goods on credit is called sales book. In any business, the credit sales of the goods in which it deals is recorded in sales book. Cash sales transactions and asset sale transactions are not recorded in the sale book. These type of transactions are recorded in cash book. Net amount of sale of goods is recorded in sales book. Net amount is equals to total amount of credit sales less trade discount. Trade discount is not recorded in a book. Sales book can be maintained in the following two ways. First, simple sales book. Second, columnar sales book. Further, columnar sales book is also divided into two ways, that is, sales book with column according to types of goods and sales books with column for goods and expenses. Format of sales book. When a businessman is selling only one type of goods, generally a simple sales book is maintained. Even when more than one type of goods is sold, separate simple sales book for each type of goods can be maintained. However, when more than one type of goods is sold, generally columnar sales book for each type of goods is prepared to know the details and information about each variety of goods. First is date. In the above specimen, first column is of date. The date on which credit sale transaction has taken place is recorded here. Second, name of customer or particulars. Name of customer to whom goods are sold and details of goods sold are entered in this column. Third, outward invoice number. The number of bill or invoice issued to buyer is recorded in this column. When the goods are sold, invoice is prepared. This invoice number is called outward invoice number. Many times it is recorded in the outward register and the same number is considered as outward invoice number. Fourth, ledger folio number. The page number of the ledger on which the amount is debited in the account of the concerned customer is recorded in this column. Lastly, amount. Net amount of sales arrived after deducting trade discount from total sales is recorded in this column. Apart from this, the expense paid on behalf of customer are also recorded but are recorded in cash book. There are two types of return books. First is purchase return book, second is sales return book. In purchase return book, generally goods once purchased are returned under the following circumstances: when the goods are not as per sample, when goods are of inferior quality, when goods are in damaged condition. To get rebate or refund by returning container or packing of the goods, goods are not delivered at time, and goods returned for any other reason. When goods purchased on credit are returned for any of the above stated reason, such returns are recorded in purchase return book. Only those purchase return transactions where cash is not received or paid are recorded in purchase return book. Generally, following journal entry will be passed: supplier's account debit to purchase return. In the above journal, trader's account or individual's account is debited, so while returning the goods, debit note is sent. When the trader receives the good, he sends the credit note. Format of purchase return book. There are two types of purchase return book. First is simple purchase return book, second is columnar purchase return book. In columnar purchase return book, there comes two: purchase return book with columns according to types of good, and second, purchase return book with columns for goods and expenses. First is date. In above specimen, first column is of date. The date on which goods are returned is shown here. Then name of supplier. In this column, name of the supplier to whom goods are returned and details of goods returned are entered. Third, debit note number. The number of debit note sent along with goods return is recorded here. Fourth, ledger folio number. The page number of the ledger on which the amount is debited in the account of the concerned supplier is recorded in this column. Next and last, amount. Amount of net purchase return is recorded in this column. Then comes sales return book. An enterprise records transaction of goods returned in sales return book if the goods sold on credit are returned by its customers. Generally, goods once sold are returned under the same circumstances of purchase return. When goods sold on credit are returned for any reasons, the customer send a debit note along with the returned goods. Similarly, the enterprise receiving back the returned goods issues credit note when it receives such goods and sends the same to the customer. Only those sales return transactions where cash is not received or paid are recorded in sales return book. Format of sales return book. Sales return book consists of two types: simple sales return book and columnar sales return book. In columnar sales return book, there are again two categories. First, columnar sales return book according to type of goods. Second, columnar sales return book according to goods and expenses. Generally, when simple sales book is maintained, the sales return book also would be simple. Similarly, when columnar sales book according to types of goods or columns with expenses is maintained, the returns book also would be columnar. Now, first is date. The date on which goods are returned is shown in this column. Second, name of customer. Name of customer who has returned the goods and details of goods returned are entered in this column. Third, credit note number. The number of credit notes sent for return of goods is recorded in this column. Fourth, ledger folio number. The page number of the ledger on which the amount is credited in the account of concerned customer is recorded in this column. Lastly, amount. Amount of net sales is recorded in this column. Next is cash book. To record cash transactions, separate book is kept which is called cash book. The function of cash book is to keep records of all cash transactions. Cash book takes the place of cash account, that is not necessary to open separate cash account in the ledger after keeping records in the cash book. Cash book serves the purpose of journal entry and cash account both. As cash book is prepared in the form of ledger account, debit side of cash book is known as income or receipt side and credit side is known as payment side. Types of cash book. Generally, cash book is prepared in three ways. First, simple cash book. Second, two-columnar cash book. And third is three-columnar cash book. Currently, three-columnar cash book is more popular. Cash, discount and bank transactions included in cash book is more popular, which we shall discuss in next chapter. Petty cash book is only a part of cash book. Petty cash book is prepared to record day-to-day petty business expenses like stationery expense, post and telegraph charges, etc. Detailed discussion about this will be made in the next chapter. Next is bills receivable book. When a seller has to receive payment from some customers at times, generally the seller draws necessary bill on the customer for the sum due. The customer accepts and records such bill and return to the seller. Such bill is known as bills receivable for the person who draws it, and it is known as bills payable for the person who accepts the same. For the holder of such bills, also it is bills receivable. Detailed record of such bills received from various customers is kept in bills receivable book. It can from the above specimen that the last column of bills receivable book is for remarks. In this column, details of use or disposal of such bill is shown. For example, bills discounted in bank, endorsed in favor of creditors, etc. Bills payable book. We have seen that when a bill drawn by other party is accepted, it becomes bills payable for the person who accepts the same. Details of bills drawn by traders and accepted as payables are recorded in bills payable book. Bills payable book is used to record bill accepted by us. When a bill drawn by our creditor is accepted, particulars of the same are recorded in this book. In the ledger, the account of each person whose bill has been accepted is debited with the amount of the bill. The monthly total of the bills accepted is credited to the bills payable account ledger. Hope you all have understood all the terms, and if you have any doubt, please do comment. Now we shall discuss some questions and you have to answer those in the comment section. First is, which is not the one type of subsidiary book? Bills payable book, bills receivable book, triple column cash book or four column cash book? Second question, how many types of cash book we have discussed? 4, 5, 3 or 2? Third question, which book is also known as invoice book, sales book, simple cash book, purchase book or purchase return book? And the last is, in which book small expenses are recorded? First petty cash book, second cash book, third single column cash book, fourth triple column cash book. If you have any queries, please let me know. Thank you.